Oh, you've been following the Bud Light shit or the Budweiser shit, I guess we should say.
I think so.
Yeah.
Apparently, it actually has like had a tremendous effect, and they're just not selling a lot of it. Although
I heard
diminishing
17%,
that effect.
which matters.
yeah, diminishing that
I
effect,
saw
of
like up
course,
to
is the people
26.
who don't know how many beers Anheuser-Busch owns. You know,
Yeah,
like,
they own a whole
Mhm.
lot. Their sales are struggling from it now, but I mean, it's the largest brewery on the planet, and so it's like, yeah, their American market share is taking a hit right now, but like globally, they're fine. Like they're the
Isn't it the
biggest
premier
beer on
brand?
earth. Their own, yeah. Bud Light and Budweiser are their premier brands, but it's also like, imagine a really bad marketing call for Coca-Cola, and it runs in the United States.
okay.
Now that doesn't impact Coke sales in Japan, Zimbabwe, everywhere else. Similar
Pepsi
with
did it.
this, like
Right, with the Kardashians.
they might have. I'm not familiar with that one. Oh yeah, Pepsi.
or when
yeah.
they had that lottery and those people died.
that the Pepsi one wasn't like nearly as unpopular as this Budweiser
happened.
I
one.
agree.
But dude, like being in St. Louis, like we are Budweiser's home court. Like nobody has market share here like Bud, and like in gas stations and stores, like Bud Light is marked down significantly. I noticed like this was maybe a month or so ago that I was having some buddies over, so I was going to pick up some beer, and I usually like Bud Select, Bud Light, just like basic shit like that. I enjoy. It's fine. And I went there, and apparently, like, I kind of took this as an indicator of how bad their sales were before the data came out, or how bad other competitors took it to be, because Yingling, which is a Florida brewery, which is, you know, it's a better quality than a Budweiser, they were selling Yingling Light next to the Bud Light, undercutting it. And so like other brands were taking a little loss off the top to insert in areas where Bud has heavy market share to try and get some. And so literally I went to go get like, I don't give a fuck. I was going to grab Bud Light. It's fine. And
Jesus
right
Christ.
next to the Bud Light is Yingling Light for $1 less. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to save 15 calories of beer and $1. Give me the fucking Yingling. And guess what I found out? Yingling Light is genuinely way better than Bud Light. But as
Not
soon as they
surprised.
move that price up, back to Bud Light.
I think that you're an example of a person with a fully functional brain, but I bet you went to school with some bros who call Bud Light the gay beer now, and that will be in their consciousness forever. 10 years from now, Budweiser is still going to be the gay beer. So
Yeah.
you know what ear to get pierced, Woody? Because it was made abundantly clear to me in elementary school which one was gay
The left
and which
one.
one wasn't.
The right
all
one,
right,
gay.
and we took it to heart.
Here's the
Yes, we
thing.
did.
I don't know how long. I expected it not to be long lasting because, like, Nike did. I guess the Colin Kaepernick thing with Nike. That's totally in the rearview mirror. No one
that's
gives
different.
a fuck about that.
That's
there's more.
racism. We let
I
that
remember
go.
they were like throwing Keurigs out off their balconies and shit. I don't remember what they did wrong, but the right hated
Mhm.
them. That's totally in the rearview.
That's
mirror.
convenient coffee. I got
water
nowhere else
under
to
the
go.
bridge. I had another one. I forgot. I can't even remember
Dixie
all
Chicks,
the like.
they never came back. They had to change their
That,
fucking
that
name.
is counter.
They're just the
yeah.
chicks.
But it seems like the right cancels a brand every 4 or 6 months,
Yeah. it's
and then it
embarrassing.
gets
It's ridiculous.
uncanceled.
It's fucking embarrassing how they'll be like, actually, Bud Light's gay, so buy my $65 12 pack of Patriot Winter Brew. And it's like, good God, you're just a grifter, embarrassing loser. Like, yeah, it will hit. Like a difference between the Nike thing and the Bud Light thing is their core market. A Bud Light, an average Bud Light drinker is like not a lib for
Blue
the most
collar.
part.
Is,
Like
is
blue
blue
collar,
collar.
more conservative, right
Terrible
wing
marketing
leading.
decision.
Yeah,
it's
it was a
awful.
terrible marketing decision.
You know
I
why?
don't know why on earth they would do that's so
I'll tell
fucking
ya.
stupid.
Unforced
But like,
error.
Budweiser
if
has a
you-
new president. They have a lady for the first time ever, and she wanted the brand to be more, quote unquote more inclusive. So
Yeah.
she's
Oh,
their
Whoa, it
flagship
sounds like
brand.
you know
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
I
I
like
read
she-
That was
Yeah.
insulting. I phrased it so stupid. I'm so sorry. It sounds like you know something I didn't know. I just learned that from you. All right.
Yeah, they did bring in like a new like advertising lady, hyper progressive, very common for
I think she's running the
progressives in
company.
advertising to like shoehorn shit in, and that is very jarring to a lot of people. But what you're saying, Woody, I don't think that this will have like, it will fade into the rear view, and the people who have already made their purchasing decision now to pivot, I don't think they're likely to come back because they're like rah rah about it. But everyone else will forget. Everyone else will be like one summer from now, oh, Bud Light, just basic fucking beer. Like all of these boycotts, it's not going to amount to much more after a couple of years. They own fucking 500 banners of beer. They're the biggest brewery on earth.
Yeah, the problem is that I don't feel like they can't back off. They almost have to double down. They almost have to go even.
They should not.
They almost have to go gayer with it and have like they need like
dude. I hope they do.
They have to have like 2 trans men with like a Puerto Rican baby they've neutered.
Wait. No,
and they're walking it like a dog.
Double down. Better yet. Reshape the beer can to be penis shaped. You just fucking drink from the tip.
I love that. And afterward, you can sit on it.
Hey, give me a Bud Light. Give me a Bud Light. Do you want cut or uncut? Give me the fucking cut. Give me the cut. But you know what? That's the last straw.
This is America.
The last straw.
Yeah.
The cop can is where I draw the line.
I'm the other way. I only drink gay beer. I want people to know I'm on the right side of history.
You're an
Puerto Rican weak and all the dicks are brown. Man, look, I promise you, they're gonna double down on that shit because they won't learn their lesson. They'll be like, "Oh, we're standing proud," and it'll go down on. They'll do something. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see the commercial. By the way, anybody who drinks Bud Light, you just have awful taste. I mean, I don't like beer, but I can tell you that's bad beer.
It's not that bad. It's
bad beer.
It's fine. Like
it's bad beer.
If you're at a hocky game, if you're at
McDonald's
a
of beer.
bar, yeah, it is. Literally, yes. Do you think
McDonald's is bad food?
It is bad food, but sometimes it's what you need. Sometimes it's what you need, man. Like if I'm sitting watching a Blues game at the Enterprise Center,
Rolling Rock.
I'm watching a whole sports game. I'm watching a whole sports game. Do you think that I want to sit there and drink some like heavy 8% quadruple IPA bullshit, or do I want a nice light, low alcohol?
Like it's Guinness or Bud. No, get a Yingling, get a Rolling Rock, get a Dos Equis, get a Corona, get a Miller Lite. I will drink a pitcher of Miller Lite, fucking warm before I drink a cold Bud Light.
Okay, the thing about Miller Lite is it's actually better than Bud Light. It has a worse aftertaste, but it's less calories. It's 15 less calories.
It's less alcohol though, so you got to drink more of it.
Oh, I thought it was the same.
I think it's like 5 even or something, maybe 4-8. It's one of those.
I assumed all of the big lights were the same, like Bud, Coors, and Miller.
If you put any of these beers in front of me, I'd have no idea which is which.
Oh, I picked Bud Light out of the
regular
lineup
versus light. Like I don't drink beer at all.
Light just means less calories, so you can be like, "Oh, I'm not making as bad of a decision."
What else does it have less of?
Alcohol.
Mouthfeel.
It's a super light, lower alcohol beer that's like meant to be drank like over the course of the day, like outside or at a sporting event, like
while driving.
Yeah,
on the road.
Just an anytime beer, man. just something to take the edge off.
You know, you might think that drinking and driving is really frowned upon everywhere, but I swear, like I know a guy, he'd come around and be like, it's such a nice rainy day. I saw him at the gas station. It's one of my dad's kind of friends, but I was going into a gas station. He was coming out and he had a whole case of beer. And I was like, where you going, Ronnie? He's like, on a rainy day like this, I just like to ride and drink. He was going to get in his truck on this nice, calm, rainy day because nobody would be on the roads, he thought, I suppose, and just drink that 12-pack of beer while he just caroused the county.
That is just a incompetent murderer.
It's just basically
manslaughter.
After hockey, so I came from New Jersey, and in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, at least in my circle, no one would drink or drive. It was like a hard, fast thing. You wouldn't drink and drive. Having an open container while driving was jaw-dropping. But even if you did like drink, you made like damn sure to do that like less than a drink an hour thing so that you'd be legal and stuff. That was my world in Jersey.
Wow.
I would play hockey. Guys would have like 3 beers after the game in a hurry and then just drive home. And
yeah, you're buzzed.
It was shocking to me.
So I just sort of took it to heart early on that it was a bad idea to drink and drive, and I just took it so seriously that I never even attempted it. I don't think. I know I've driven buzzed for sure, like a time or two, that I shouldn't have, but I've certainly never been like drunk driving, like many drinks or anything. And I always didn't think too much of that. I thought that it was just like, what, you're a little bit inconvenienced here, like get a ride home or sleep it off or whatever.
It's a very
like to me, it was always like, dude, chill right here in this parking lot for 3 hours. Let's smoke cigarettes and listen to the radio and not kill somebody, right? Like,
Because I
get chicken
didn't-
nuggets.
Smoke cigarette.
I didn't like drinking very
radio.
much, and I was also like an athlete when I was young, and
Mhm.
because of that, I always I wanted to be designated driver, and everyone else was thrilled that somebody wanted to be designated driver. So it was a win all over the place.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You were
I had
popular.
I had two friends that drunk it, like they were drunk and driving,
Mhm.
and they were like goofing about driving in separate cars, and they crashed into each other and like kept going, and they were like dented up and they fucked up their cars,
Damn.
and it was just impactful for me. It was like, wow, like it's incredibly dangerous, and this is a guy who like has a high risk profile, and
This is something
they
that-
didn't ruin their cars.
I wouldn't say this so that children could hear me, because you want to set a good example. But just between us, like some people who drink every day, they can handle that shit. They can drink and drive, they can drink and shoot, they can drink and like operate heavy machinery, all sorts of shit. Like the people who actually every day are having 6 beers at lunchtime or 12 or whatever, like people who heavily drink, they can do it. I just believe they can. I've really enjoyed the double backlash from the LGBT community. With first with Bud Light, right? Obviously, Bud Light partners with Dylan Mulvaney, I believe, the trans person, and then huge backlash from the right, pouring beer out, throwing it away. We're not going to drink your beer anymore. Lots of money lost.
Still
Yeah,
hurting them, and experts I read today are surprised that it didn't blow over faster.
Oh, it will not blow over fast. Like if I put myself in the shoes of a person on the right, first of all, it's not good beer. That's a big problem. So they're not gonna be like, man, this Miller Lite just
she's
ain't
pretty
cutting it."
hot, actually. I guess I never really looked at it. I'd fucking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't go outside or anything, so I don't see these things.
I feel. I think that never mind. Well, anyhow, Finster's much better looking. I'll say
yeah,
that.
Finster would have been a better choice. Although
people on the right-
deal with this.
The average Bud Light commercial drinker is not gonna forgive and forget. But what's been really interesting is
Yeah.
Bud Light went back, right? I don't know if they fired, but they definitely put that lady who came up with that marketing campaign on like leave or something. Like she's on vacation,
Yeah, probably a little pain.
and now the camos have horses and camouflage on them, right? Like Clydesdales and camo. That's the Bud Light cans right now. They're aluminum bottles.
They should
Fucking
just put guns
Clydesdales
on
and
it.
camo. Yeah, they should put.
what could
That's
go
what the
wrong?
camo's implying. Like that's their fucking right wing dog was. Look at this camo. What's that go with?
Yeah.
Guns. All right, get to it, boys. American. And they're like, yeah, to shoot queers with. They're not. They're not going to come back around on this. And the funny part is, the people on the far left are like, we see that Bud Light was a fake ally. Fuck them. No gay bars are pouring their beer out, like not serving their beer even. Like the left has done the same thing. So yeah, I love it. I love it because one of the things I
it's a
hate, and it has
terrible
nothing to do
move.
with trans people or any of that. I hate when companies fake caring about things, and from the NBA and the NFL to fucking Bud Light over here
Mhm.
with their goddamn camouflage cans when it was this last week. Get out of here. Who you trying to appeal to?
I
Who's
didn't
your
know they had
customer
bottle-shaped
base?
cans. Those are
Yeah,
aluminum, I assume.
Yeah. You were right, Kyle. Like I thought it wouldn't. I didn't think they'd be recovered by now, but I didn't think they would still be absolutely tanking. Like Bud Light as a brand, as the largest banner of any beer on earth, is down like a third.
I have a stupid
It's
question.
insane.
Has it spread to Bud?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I don't know.
all of the Anheuser-Busch banners are taking a hit for the most part. Like
What are the other
especially Bud Light,
Anheuser-Busch banners? Like
stuff like Mick Ultra,
Michelob stuff.
yeah, Natty Light, the naturals, all of that is theirs. They have a ton of stuff like Blue Moon. I don't know how much that's been impacted, but that's a small percentage of their.
Yeah, as
you know,
much as
net
people
revenue.
like to make fun of people on the right or whoever who are they don't drink Bud Light, but then they'll drink a Michelob. They're like same company. All over Facebook and everybody's like, here are the beers we drink now. Here are the American beers. And then of course you've always got a My Pillow type guy who steps in. How about y'all buy a 6-pack of Patriot Ale for $25? Patriot Ale, yeah. Get you some Patriot Ale. Get say $5 off a pack of 9mm over at patriotale.com. So
That's
Yeah.
somebody's always
a
willing to-
drop.
That's a big job.
Is it like 67,
So it's-
57?
it's a big drop, but a lot of it's going to be delayed. So a huge issue with what's happening to them right now is they have enormous sums of stock that is taking up space that is not selling. Like they're offering full price rebates right now.
They're buying
Meaning,
back
like
here. They're
you
buying
can
back here.
you can go to Walmart right now and grab as many containers of Bud Light as you want, and there's a QR code that gives you a full refund. You get free beer. That's how much extra they have right now. Is they are trying to get it
This
gone.
is like oil in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, gun,
It's-
if anybody's got a
great.
gun channel that's listening right now, you just found your target, right? Like,
Mm.
you have to walk you through this. Go get yourself as many fucking cases of Bud Light as you can.
It's
And-
cheaper than water.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah,
let's go.
it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
I
you were
wanna-
still doing your gun channel, you'd be shooting
Oh.
nothing but Bud
Oh,
Light.
please,
and
I'd be
you'd-
riding a Clydesdale in like with a spinning like shotgun. Like,
Another
like,
1,000 free targets, ma'am. Thank you.
I just want the world
I'd
to
make it out
remember,
like they've been raping the horse at the Bud Light stables because they're into that now.
Oh
the
my god.
cancel
Yeah.
culture thing that gets pinned on the left. Can we agree at this moment it's both sides? You know,
We call it
is.
consequence culture on the right, Woody.
Well, no,
okay.
cancel culture is like I always think of cancel culture as like individuals and like I don't think they're trying to cancel Bud Light. I think they're boycotting it the same way like you boycott big companies and stuff.
I get the
Canceling,
parallel, though, right?
cancel. I know what he's saying, but canceling is like when a bunch of people pile on someone and do what they did to that white pregnant woman in New York recently, where with that
Oh,
bike
yeah.
story. Like that's canceling when a bunch of people come together and fucking
Mm.
try to ruin someone's life.
I think of canceling as more career stuff, like when Louis C.K. is a good example of canceling.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
To me, cancel.
I guess I have less empathy for Bud Light and big corporations than people.
It's when it becomes. It's when you all of a sudden it's acceptable to be mean to you, and it's acceptable for like mainstream media to talk shit on you, and they can score points that way. That's when I consider someone canceled. When they can be like disgraced so-called comedian Louis C.K. stepped in dog shit today. Literally, here he is in the park with his children. Look, and everybody's like, "Ha ha ha, bigot!" Hey, everybody's just.
Bigot. That wasn't even what he did wrong.
Yeah.
But I can see him saying it. Like it's not right.
He wouldn't have stepped in a black dog shit. I guarantee you, he'd have jumped over sideways.
First of all, I think we're all in agreement. Louis C.K. did nothing wrong. He asked
No,
everybody if he could jack off on the phone, and he jacked off on the phone. He said,
Doesn't
"Can
it
I
make you a
jack
little
off
bit
in front of
nervous
you?" And
about-
they said yes.
Look, doesn't it make you a little bit nervous about your own sexual history? It's like, whoa. Well, I mean, I don't get off on like jerking off in front of women necessarily. I mean, maybe a little, but but like, I would think that if I wanted to engage in that, step one would be like, hey, how you doing? You know, hey, I got this thing I like. Let me run this by you. Like, if that is not acceptable, then where are we? Do I need to write a letter? Do I need to write a letter?
Living in Georgia.
I've been to the museum twice. It's interesting.
Although I haven't gotten a Bud Light product in a long time, and we were trained here to like that blue can, and then they,
yeah?
and then now it's insane. Every fucking grocery store here has quadrupled the amount of Miller and Coors they have sitting out. Like, I was walking in a grocery store today, picking stuff out, and I was passing to get to the bread and whatnot, and there's this giant display of Miller Lite. There are never Miller Lite displays in Bush country. Like, never, ever. I don't think I've ever seen one. And they're just there now.
I heard on the radio yesterday, I had to drive back. So I hired a huge moving truck, bunch of guys, but they couldn't get it all. And they had another client book. It's $300 more to like do another trip. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that ain't bad. They got other clients. They're gone. So I had to drive back and forth,
Oh,
like
no.
a 30-minute drive 4 times.
All today.
Yesterday, it was awful. At night, after working all day, all sweaty and just
Ugh. You're done now.
Oh, I'm done now. I got to unpack boxes. But what I was going to say is I listened to the radio all that time. I heard an Anheuser-Busch commercial, which I'd never heard such a thing before. They're going straight to the top. Oh, this is it. We're Anheuser-Busch. Wait, what do you make? Don't worry about it for a second. Listen up. And the commercial was the entire assembly line or sort of product line of people who make their beer happen. And it started at I caught the commercial like 10 seconds into it, so I don't know where it started, but the guy was like, "I'm Emilio, and I brew the beer." And the guy was like, "My name's John, and I'm a hop man, and my name's Bill, and I make sure the water's pure." And every step, all the ingredients of a beer, and every individual who's a professional who counts on beer sales to make sure that their job is secured. All these Americans, these women, men, and there was a Spanish guy in there too. He drove the forklift. I can't even make it up.
They're covering everything.
The only voice that wasn't white, black, or a woman, and you could definitely tell every step of the way, was Julio or Emilio, who drove the forklift. And he was like, I drive a forklift with the beer very carefully.
Yes, very carefully.
They will beat me if I do not. Can't speak it. But at the end, it's like, we're Anheuser-Busch. We make beer. That's what we're about. It said that. And I was like, nah, it's not what you were about a couple months ago. You're about all sorts of stuff. You have big ideas about what people should be thinking and doing. What are you talking about? Let's have
and
beer
now
and
you've
talk
made
about
it. Now you've made it so that if you are walking around with the Bud Light in the Midwest, you'll get bullied. Someone will be like, literally, it's become a meme, like it's become, you were so right early on with your prediction there that it was going to be so much more devastating for them than I thought. Like I thought,
because I remember what it was like
much more. They're a joke. They're a total joke brand.
You remember what it was like growing up, the kid who had the off-brand shit, like who didn't have an excuse to. I'm not talking about picking on poor kids. I'm talking about like Michael picked that.
Yeah.
Like why would he do that? Like you would get bullied for picking some off-brand shit. And that's what Bud Light is now. It is the gay beer. It is, and that's the nice way to put it. I guarantee people are getting bullied everywhere or there's a little joke made. It's not even really bullying. It's that someone orders a Bud Light at a bar and someone goes, "Get a little gay beer, huh?" And they both joke about it. Nobody's mad, but everybody knows it. And somebody over the shoulder goes, "I don't want that."
Right?
Or I don't want to get bullied for the gay beer.
You joke, let it slide. But then maybe next time he's like, "Well, I don't want to go through that."
Yeah.
And it's like a very easy. I think at this point it's permanent. Like they're a very much a joke brand. At least the Bud Light banner itself. Bud Light is a joke meme brand now, where like it's funny to see someone. The reason someone would show up at a party with a 12-pack of Bud Light would be a joke. Like that would be the joke at this point of like, oh,
it would
what?
be ironic.
No, yeah, they do that ironically, and it's a very easy product to switch to because unlike something that's wildly unique,
projection,
they go, hey, you want to drink Miller or Coors? It's the exact same thing. Miller actually has less calories and it's the exact same thing. The people who make that switch, there's no reason to go back. It's the same product.
There'll be a small spike in sales around Halloween because Bud Light will be part of a great costume this year. The Dylan Mulvaney costume. You'll need your 6-pack of Bud Light to carry around with you when you cross-dress for Halloween this year.
I have no expertise in this.
That will be done.
I do like what you're saying. I have no expertise, but I just feel like it'll pass. It usually does.
For
this one strikes at a group of people. It depends who you upset, right? Like if you make moms mad, I'll forget about that shit. Just keep your prices right. They got kids to feed. But you're making conservative dudes with spending money who weren't drinking it because of its taste to begin with. It's a cultural thing. It really was. Bud Light's kind of a working man's beer, and working men drink it because it's their beer. And they said, no, we're not your beer. We're the transsexual, silly fellow in the park dancing around and giggling with a moose knuckle beer. That's who we are, and we're proud as fuck of it. Until you guys, you don't like it? Okay, we back off, and then you see they don't have any principles. Their whole stance was just about money, and so then the left side starts saying, well, that's fucking disgusting. We were never going to drink your beer anyway, you big silly goats. So now they're stuck. I don't know. Remember,
my
New
prediction is based on Nike and back Colin Kaepernick, and they let it slide. Keurig did something, and the conservatives were throwing their fucking coffee makers off the balconies on YouTube.
No, this is so much bigger.
This
is bigger than any of those
Nike
things
shoes?
rolled up, aggregated. Like
Nike it'd be like if Carhartt did something, or John Deere did something, or Red Man chewing tobacco. Like if one of those products was like, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your kids, they're donezo. Nobody's gonna wear.
Let me disagree because I have a counterpoint. the things you mentioned, Carhartt, John. Then someone who needs good boots might not switch. But Bud
They'll
Light,
switch
from what
immediately.
Taylor tells me, is not getting by on the quality of its product. It was always branding. So that when they ruin the branding, people have an easy time leaving.
It's
Where I'm
more
from,
that way, but
that's a
also
costume that
like
people wear.
Kyle's right. Yeah.
Wranglers, Justin boots, and a Carhartt jacket is a costume that rednecks wear to show their conservatism, their traditionalism, their patriotism, their hardworking blue collar redneck. That is the costume you wear. The same way that some other people would wear Nikes and some other things that they might wear. Don't ever need to go down that road.
But I have a Carhartt coat. Colin does too. We have a couple of them. They're fantastic. And the line that they pitch that like other people can make them brown, but only we can make them Carhartt. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm super thrilled with that coat.
You're not their target demo though. You're a Yankee. You're just looking for the best jacket you can find. They said, I'm telling you,
For when I do work stuff.
There is a like, especially with Carhartt, Kyle's 100% right. There's a culture around it. If they came out and did a Bud Light thing, they would take a fucking smoking. Like they
So would everyone switch to Dickies?
they would switch to whatever the closest alternative is. And because like at the end of the day, there are plenty of durable outdoor clothing companies. Like they would switch to something else. And immediately fucking Daily Wire would do some grift where they'd be like, time for ultimate summit sportswear
Right.
for Americans with
See Ben
flags on it.
Shapiro in a Carhartt looking jacket.
my new
Yeah,
Pilgrim
it's-
pants jacket.
It's $600 and it'll arrive in 12 to 14 months.
Made in
When you
Taiwan.
finish building and making and manufacturing.
John Deere is the other one he said. I think John Deere gets by on the quality of their products. And it's not just a brand. They have a dealer network and a quality of product and there aren't any holes in what you can run a whole farm, any farm. I don't care if you have chickens, wheat, corn, or potatoes. John Deere will give you everything you need from top to bottom to be a farmer.
Yeah, I'm just talking about those things that are cultural products, and those are cultural products. The John Deere thing is kind of unique because they did that whole thing with their dealer network and they squished Ford out of Ford. There are no Ford dealerships.
Yeah.
It's all John Deere.
John Deere is like
even
uniquely pretty secure with their.
and even when those dealerships were losing money, they're like, no, you're staying fucking open. We're John Deere. We're everywhere.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, we need to
they are.
maintain our total market share of what we do, and even if it's a
Yeah.
loss for a bit, which is important.
I don't know where you get. I'm sure there's Husqvarna dealers, but I don't know where one is. I know right where to go to John Deere if I
You,
need a tractor.
You mentioned new
I
Coke.
agree.
Did you? That new Coke switch was. I think this is like common knowledge now. It was like a total, like, a way to trick
Rejuvenate.
people into not noticing that they switched from sugar to corn syrup. So they take Coke off the market. They bring out new Coke. It sucks. They bring classic Coke back with corn syrup instead of sugar, and people go, "Yay!"
Do you think that was the plan from the get-go? They didn't mean to introduce a bad Coke.
Yeah. They introduced that in order to make it less obvious that you're pivoting from sugar, which is the same reason that Mexican Coke is so good. Like if they would have made that switch instantly, sugar to
People
corn
would
syrup,
notice.
you get noticed right away. And so you've switched to a different product that sucks intentionally, run a short run of it, and then switch to the new product, which saves you a shit ton of money at the old flavor that's close enough.
I can't buy it. I was around for the new Coke introduction and the ad blitz for new Coke and the excitement. Everyone wanted to see it. There were these Coca-Cola wars between Coke and Pepsi. I can't think of another A versus B comparison that was the same level of just like cultural dominance. You know, everyone, are you a Coke guy, Pepsi guy? What are you? We went on a field trip in my school to see a Pepsi bottling company. You know, it was like everywhere. And when they came out with new Coke, it really seemed like they were trying to give you a better Coke because it was losing the taste tests to Pepsi.
I think it was just a smart business move to like trick consumers and save a bunch of money. Pretty shrewd, but like I think they're
Intentionally fail.
I think they're a very smart company. Oh, well, it wasn't
They got a ton of free media. Like I bet did they lose money in the end? Like the whole thing was this media storm. It's before my time, and I know about it. I know how big of a deal it was. Remember,
you get a
Clear
second
Pepsi?
media storm at the end of it. Oh, they're bringing back Coca-Cola Classic. the favorite
Right.
beverage of the planet. Like,
They're masters of marketing. I'm telling you, if you ever go,
They're smart.
to it next time you're in Atlanta and you want to waste $50, head over to the
Yeah.
Coca-Cola Museum. Okay, they will show you a polar bears movie that'll make you wish it was a full movie and not 15 minutes of not a 15-minute commercial. And then they'll make you stand in line to walk into the vault where the recipe is kept in a box. You will see no recipe, of course. You will just stand in line to look at a safe deposit box, which is most assuredly empty. Then you'll be led to a back room at some point with concrete sticky floors where you'll meander past many 360-degree pedestals that dispense sodas from
wow.
around the planet that
Thai
for whatever
lemon
reason,
Pepsi, Thai
for
lemon
whatever
Coke.
reason, the most powerful fucking economic force in existence. We don't have it here. They can only get it in Guatemala. It's the good stuff, though. Trust me. And you get to try like cinnamon fucking
Ugh.
Coke and like all these ridiculous derivations. And at first you think it's cool, and then you realize a lot of these kiosks are the exact same 18 mystical flavors. Like it's just set up that way so everybody can have one. And then you actually see some glass bottles being made. It's a fucking nonsense. You see some machines make a few glass bottles, and then I don't even think they give you one for free. They might though. They might actually sell you a Coke at the
You
end
know
of
what
the
the
fucking
best